Oh, all right. So the whole thing here now, Libra, you're gonna have to really rely on your intuition right now. The underlying energy is the High Priestess. She's all about following your instincts. She's also the person that has all the hidden knowledge. Okay, things are not really, when she comes up, it's really talking about like really trusting your intuition, really trusting your higher self. It also talks about receiving, being very passive in a relationship. There may be some passivity needed right now, considering that you do have the Six of Cups in your hopes of fear, Six of Pentacles rather, in your hopes of fears right here. But we're getting into that in a second. But the High Priestess does talk about excuse me, passivity. Okay, underneath here are the Lovers. Okay, so you may have to use your intuition in regards to the connection that you have with an individual. This could also be talking about maybe you may need to receive something within this connection that you've got going on. What do we have underneath here too? The Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, I feel like you're confident in yourself, confident in the relationship, but I feel like you want some reciprocity here. All right. Now, the current state of being, y'all, is the Sun. So everything's pretty darn clear. Okay, everything's laid out. All right. There's definitely not a single uncertainty in sight. Everything's pretty doggone clear. That does lead you to the path to happiness, though. Okay, so things are actually looking up for some of you guys right now. It could be actually pretty good, and for those of you that may not be feeling your situation, it could just be that there's a situation now that's very clear, very out in the open. Everything's exposed. All right, illumination has finally touched your situation. Now, where you guys want to be in your love lives is the Hermit. So I feel like you guys kind of honestly want to be left alone. With the Hermit coming up, you kind of just want to be left alone, or you guys want to regain confidence in yourself, regain some sort of stability in yourself. The Hermit does talk about soul searching, not transition per se, but looking within yourself, relying on yourself to find the answers. The High Priestess, she relies on herself for all the answers, right? Because she is connected to the higher realms. She's connected to the subconscious. She's very much in tune to her emotions and what her intuition is telling her. And I feel like with the Hermit coming up, I do feel like as this being a goal, I don't think this is you guys wanting to be separated. I do think that you guys want to be independent and feel independent. Think for yourself and find what you were looking for internally. Okay, so for some of you guys, you may want to be left alone. For some of you guys, you may want to just find that something that you feel is missing, something that's within yourself. But the thing that's keeping you from being able to find whatever you're looking for with the Hierophant, there you have the Page of Swords. Okay, which is talking about speaking your truth, communication, gaining information or data. And I feel like for you guys in your relationship, there may just be that there needs to have there's some sort of communication that's not had, or there's some sort of blunt communication here that has been said, and that's just causing this kind of stagnant energy. The High Priestess, she doesn't move, she's not stagnant, but she doesn't do anything. She just absorbs, right? She's very receptive. Now, this could be talking about there may be a specific truth that needs to come up, and it's because of a long time coming, a lot of waiting, a lot of diligent work being put into something, and it's because, and I feel like it may not be because of this truth, but it's like you've been putting in a lot of work, you've been waiting a long time, you're waiting for something to return to you, and I feel like it's the Page of Swords could be talking about like wanting to speak up or need to communicate. There needs to be some sort of communication. Some blunt truth needs to be put, need to be told. Your advice here, the best path to follow is the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords talks about clarity is truth. It talks about, it talks about a new way of communicating, new way of thinking. Now, considering that you have the Page of Swords here, which is a message, you may have to, this may be that the advice could be talking about relying on your truth, because there's something there's a new perspective that you have here, and and I feel like it could be that it's time to utilize this. It could be that you may need to utilize this. This new beginning is probably approaching a situation from a different perspective, right? Approaching something from a different perspective here. Okay. But you're exhausted, Libra. Okay. You're tired. You're beaten down. But you're not ready to give up yet. That's the thing that is very interesting, is that you guys are not ready to just kind of throw in the towel. You've been pushing, you've been pushing, you've been pushing, and you've been pushed back a lot of times. But you ain't ready to give up. You ain't ready to just throw in the towel. Now, for some of you guys, this could be that you be feeling, a little bit defensive as well. Like, you could be very defensive about something, especially in regards to yourself, right? You're ready to just, you don't know how much more you can take. So, yeah, you're defensive. You may be coming off a little bit strong, a little serious. But I feel like situations need to be handled in a different way. Not from you, but necessarily from someone else. Because this is about reciprocity. The High Priestess doesn't say anything. She doesn't do much of anything, like I said. She feels, she meditates, she knows all. She knows all. And I feel like, Libra, you've been going through some work here. And I feel like now it's time to get what you've been waiting on. But the thing here is, just like the communication is with the blockages. Something that needs to be said, or some detail that needs to be, or not detail, but something that needs to be, some information that needs to be gained here. Because your hopes and fears is the Six of Pentacles. I feel like you hope for some sort of return, obviously. You hope for something to come back, how that pendulum swing in your direction because of the work that you've been putting in. Okay? So, the Nine of Wands telling me that you're exhausted, telling me that you're tired, and it's because I think from your hopes and fears perspective, you just want something to return. You want to see that return. You want to get to the Ten of Wands. You want to get to the ending of the cycle. You're almost there. You're not exactly at the Ten of Wands yet, but you're almost there, and you want some good return to come back from this. You want some fairness. You want some balance to be put into place. But your outcome is showing up as judgment. All right, this is there may be a situation that comes up that's going to require, that you're going to be reviewing, right? And then from that review, there is an action that needs to be taken, right? Because of everything that you've been through, everything that you've gone through with this relationship, even if, you're waiting forever or something like that, that gives you, that pushes you to judgment, right? Or if you get whatever you've been looking for or will get something back, that pushes you in this position to be like, okay, well, where do we go from here? Because this is it's kind of almost in a way, for how I see judgment, it's almost like the Two of Wands. You can't go in the same direction that you've been going anymore. Because not just because the road is run out, but that you've changed. You're different. You're not the same person anymore. I mean, there's some things that we may hold on to from old ways and ways of being. But at the end of the day, we are not the same person. And I feel like that's what's up. The Hermit is like, the transition, the transformation. He's the Nine in itself, right? Where he's like, I'm almost there. This is like, I know this is the same thing, and it's just like an earlier cycle. You know what I mean? So with Judgment coming up, okay, with the Hermit, I feel like this could be like an ultimate personal transformation that could be coming in for you guys. A transformation internally, something that's going to change you about how you see the world, how you navigate through the world, your intuitive connections with people, intuitive connections with higher self. And I feel like this new perspective is what's in with, it's what you're trying to gain about your value, about your hopes and your dreams and your fears, because of the star there, right? Your aspirations. And I feel like, with Judgment coming up here as your outcome, yeah, you want to see, you want to see some reciprocity. But either way, right, in any direction, this is the same thing, and a lot of this is so similar, because the Three of Wands, right, that is the card that comes in when they have, whenever something comes back to them, whenever something comes back from review, from looking very closely, not looking very closely, from the hard work that they've been putting in, rather, from the diligence, from the waiting, whatever comes back, they'll have to review it and then put action based off of that, right? They'll have to put some action after that. It's the same thing here. Judgment. You're reviewing something, and you have to make a review. You have to do something regarding that, because ultimately what's come in is no longer it's coming into a new individual. It's coming into a new situation. So I feel like right now there's a lot of clarity that's coming up here, and it has a lot to do with what is within you, because the High Priestess also talks about what's hidden. Okay. And what's hidden is now being exposed. What's not there, what wasn't there, is now showing up. And I don't know if this is like a situation within your partner, within your relationship with your partner, like there's something underlying there. But ultimately, this is going to change your character. This is going to change how you think. This is going to change how you heal, you recover, you take steps back. This is going to change the way you approach situations and relationships. Because you're not going to be the same after this. And it's not going to be a bad thing. Judgment is never a bad thing. There's no such thing as a bad card. But I do get this feeling that you're not going to be the same individual after this. But you've been waiting for a long time, Libra. Okay? But I feel like the thing that is keeping you from the Hermit is this blunt truth. There's something about that communication that needs to come out. And I feel like that's why the Ace of Swords is saying your best path to follow is relying on your truth. Relying on what you believe to be correct, your new way of thinking, going along that path. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with the romance angels for y'all. New love. A person has stirred your romantic feelings. Ooh. So for those of you that are in a relationship already, this could be talking about a rekindling of a flame that's in your relationship. It could be that it's a restart, or it's a stirring of new feelings in your relationship with your partner. For those of you that are not in a relationship with somebody, this could be talking about, yeah, literally new love is coming in, because it's everything's clear. There's a person that's coming its way, and it's almost like you're exhausted, you're not willing to give up, you put in a lot of work, and you're waiting for something to come through, but it's ultimately going to change how you are. And I feel like this, whatever you're waiting for, is honestly this new perspective, or something that that you're looking for within yourself. Okay, very interesting, Libra. Let me go ahead and pull your Wisdom of the Oracle. Again, see y'all, that is crazy. Okay, I know I shouldn't be surprised. I'm a tarot reader, but still, okay, I don't care. This mess still like shocks me. Yin, High Priestess, hand in hand, practically the same old card. And what is their number? 2. 2. Okay, that's their number, y'all. 2. You might get some synchronicities with 2s right now. Time to just let things come in. The Ace of Swords, right? Starting a new beginning with a new way of thinking, a new mindset. This is having a new mindset. Whatever your new mindset is, you have to allow things to come to you, right? What was it? Yeah, in love. Allow love to come to you. You're practically, for some of you guys that are single, you're practically calling in your soulmate. And even for those of you that are in your relationship, you're calling in your soulmate. And if this is the soulmate, if your soulmate is the person that you're currently with, then it's the person that you're currently with. But I feel like this new mindset is about receiving. It's about just allowing people to, to come to you, allowing the person that you want in your life to provide the reciprocity that you're looking for. No more doing. Okay. And I feel like you've been doing a lot of work and you've been waiting, but I feel like the thing is keeping you, perhaps maybe, that you're still doing stuff. Let me see. What do you mean with the Ace of Swords? What is the Ace of Swords? What are you trying to say with the Ace of Swords? That's the blockage. The 5 of Swords. Yeah, see what I'm saying? A lot of work. I feel like it's that there's a lot of you're doing stuff still. You're still communicating. You're still talking. You're not letting stuff be, Libra. And perhaps it's because, that's no wonder you're defensive and you're exhausted, because you're still doing stuff. Well, you know what? Right now, you gotta be the end. You gotta let it. You just gotta let God. You gotta let God. You gotta let Source. You gotta let the universe. Whoever you see, whoever you believe watches over you. You gotta let them do the work. You gotta let God handle this. You've been doing a lot. But in order for you to get what you want in return, you have to be willing to be open to it first. If you're always doing stuff, you're not letting anybody and letting anything come in. So it's time to be receptive. It's time to take care of yourself. It's time to go back and look within. Yeah, retreat to yourself. But most importantly, just take care of yourself, love on yourself, but allow things to just come to you right now, Libra. Okay? Allow that communication to come in. Allow that love to be reciprocated. Allow that kind of thing to come in. And if you don't see it, then that is where judgment comes in. Because then you have a decision you have to make. You have some action you have to take. Is this the kind of relationship that you want to be in? Is this something that you are willing to deal with or waiting to be more patient on, to work with some more? Because if not, then hey, that's, that is what it is. But if you are, hey, that is what it is too. But you have to be able to receive it first before you can get the information. You gotta gain the information before you make some moves.